It's the worst excuse of all time, and right now it could not be any worse of an excuse. Hey, how we doing, guys? It is Brett Summers. Welcome to the Brett Summers Show. Today I'm going to start it off a little bit differently. I have some Q&A from our Instagram account that I wanted to address right away, and I think it could be helpful to everybody out there to hear some of the answers, so we'll get into that. The first question I have is coming from Blair Hargrove, aka Lamar, one of the top line team members, and he had a good question. How do you implement and maintain discipline? Very good question. How do you implement and maintain discipline? For me, I don't know, like, just to answer this right off the cuff, the first thing that goes to my mind is I had to study it. So, like, I don't think that discipline, maybe it does come naturally to some people. Maybe they were raised in a household with a lot of discipline, but again, it comes from some sort of leadership. So if you're an undisciplined person and you're struggling in that area, I think you need to seek out other people who are very disciplined and understand some of the rituals and daily tricks and tips that they have, and read about that and study that. I don't think it's any different than success. How do you strive for and achieve success and maintain that? There's certain things that you have to do, and then there's also certain things that you don't want to do. So you don't want to make excuses. You don't want to sleep in every day. You don't want to stay up late every night. You don't want to not have targets and goals. You don't want those things. But on the flip side of that, you want to make sure you're going to bed early. You want to make sure that you have a morning ritual and routine that you can follow to get you into a flow state to where you can get things done effectively. You want to be prepared. You want to read and study, and you want to advance your thinking. So when it comes to self-discipline, you have to put what I call, or what you could refer to as, guardrails up to protect yourself from yourself. So you have to know yourself and be, as Gary Vee would say, I know Blair knows Gary Vee and is familiar with him. He always talks about self-awareness. Self-awareness, knowing yourself, knowing that includes knowing where you're weak, and that includes knowing where you're slipping up. Because I bet you, Blair, right now, and whoever's watching this or whoever's listening to this, you know 3 areas in your life where you're falling down. You know 3 areas of your life where you struggle consistently, that you just can't seem to get it right. They appear over and over again. Maybe it's in your workouts. Maybe you're a student. Maybe you just don't study right. I think beyond learning from other people, I think something that helps me out is having some structure. Right now, today, we're shooting this video on April 4th, 2020. So I don't know when somebody's watching this, but hard time right now for a lot of people. Michelle and I talked about this morning, hairstylists, for the most part, they have every minute scheduled of their day for maybe 8 to 10 hours a day. Students, when they go to school, someone says, here, this is when you show up for school, this is when class is, it's 90 minutes from this time to this time, and you do that for 3 or 4 hours if you're a student athlete. Then you go to the weight room, and then you go to practice for 4 hours, and then you have to come home and study. So your day is pretty structured. Now, people are faced with something that not a lot of people are prepared for, which is they have to structure themselves. So maybe that's what you're talking about, Blair. You have to be structured in your day. Know when you're training. Know the 5 or 6 hours where you're going to be working on personal development or your school work, or in our case, with what we have to do here at Topline, how could I be improving an area to where I can make more money off of this, this, and this? Or I can be adding value to this, this, and this, or I can be studying this skill set for this many hours, and then have those times in the day where you do take a break, right? Sometimes the most productive thing you can do for your work or for your thinking is to step away and take a break for a minute. No, don't take that as an opportunity to loaf all day or to avoid responsibility. But sometimes going and getting, I told Michelle had this the other day. She's like, I can't think. And then I'm like, go work out. I asked her, I said, when do you feel like you're most creative? She goes, well, when I'm getting ready in the morning, and when I work out, or when I'm stretching, or when I'm at the salon, because her brain can relax. And when your brain relaxes, your subconscious thoughts meet your conscious thoughts, and then that's when you go, oh, I got this great idea. Well, you had the great idea, but it was buried in your subconscious thinking. So have those strategic times in the day where you relax for a minute, where you listen to some music for a minute to chill. Just make sure it's not all day. Have the guardrails up to protect against yourself. If you listen to music in the car, and then you listen to music in the gym, and then you listen to music on your way back to the house, and then you listen to music, you've entertained yourself all day. Music falls into entertainment. Movies fall into entertainment. Hanging out with your friends falls into entertainment. Learned this one from Brian Tracy back in the day. Your education to entertainment ratio has to be more lopsided towards the education and the self-improvement rather than entertaining yourself all day. Otherwise, you will end up broke and you will end up upset with yourself. Another question we had from Chris Sams. What are your thoughts on those virtual workout products like Mirror? I'm going to give you two answers. I'm going to give you the politically correct one. Anything that gets people exercising and gets people moving, I think is a good thing. Anything that, if that works for you, Peloton works for you, cool. If Zumba works for you, cool. If hitting a Globo, like carpet and chrome style gym with saunas and like the executive workout gym, if that works for you and it keeps you in shape, good. If those things are, if you have memberships to those things, or you have the Mirror up and you have the Bowflex and you have all these other things and you don't use any of it, then I think it's crap. But it's not that the product doesn't work, it's that you don't work. So the other side of it is, like, I just couldn't fathom putting a mirror up and like there's a trainer in the mirror and then I'm supposed to like, you know, the body weight workouts. I don't know, I'm sure it could be hard, but there's something really hard about putting 300 or 400 pounds on your back or unracking 315 pounds on your chest and having to push the weight back up. So I personally would never do it. But if it works for somebody else, I'm not going to be a hater if somebody's trying to improve their life. But Chris, I hope to God that guy is not you working out in front of the mirror. Shannon Dotson asked me this. How do you keep your faith intact when we are experiencing the unspeakable? S. Dot. And I know I can be candid and speak real to you. I don't have to be fake with Shannon. Shannon's real. Not that everybody out there is not real, but Shannon's actually real. I can speak to you real. You don't need faith when times are good. So how do you keep your faith when times are, that's when you need faith. I mean, if it was sunny and 75 outside and I had a 35 rub wings with like some spicy Cajun rub wings and some chive fries, and I just worked out and I just hung out with a bunch of people and I'm sitting outside and we're all hanging out and everything's all good and I'm feeling good. I got paid that day. I got a new shirt on. I just shaved my head. I got some new glasses on. Then I'm not really focused on faith. So when times are hard, you know, when a family member earlier this year got diagnosed with cancer, when you know, someone close to me, my girlfriend, ends up, you know, having a serious injury and I'm in the ER with her, when I end up sick for God knows how long, and who, you know, what if I had a touch of the CV? You don't know. And I missed work and I didn't come in, and you know, not thinking anything like that, I'd quarantine myself for like weeks. I wouldn't talk to Michelle. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't let her touch anything. It's weird. So I'm sick for the whole year. I'm locked in the house the whole year. I'm away from my team. I can't do what I want to do. Business isn't growing like I would want it to grow because I'm not really a function in it. Family members got cancer. Girlfriend gets injured. At least $40,000-$50,000 mismanaged by some things that needed to take place on a business side that I got figured out, but it was wearing on me. You know, 50, 60 grand wears on you if it's being mismanaged by someone else and you worked hard for the money. Got it figured out, but at the time I didn't. Lost a client, tender-aged client, lost to, you know, again, like you said, the unspeakable. So I get that news. I got that news a couple of days before we had to shut the whole business down. So I think it was a day or 2 days before we have to shut our entire business operation down. I get the news that I lost like someone that I care about, like I love. Spent, many nights in the ICU waiting for complications from a cancer treatment from a family member. So I needed faith then. I have to rely on faith then. And I have to know that there's something greater that's happening then, that's bigger than me. And it tests your faith, and you think, well, where are you? Where are you? But I feel like if you look in the Bible, it says that hard times will come. It says that you'll go through trials. The Bible says that it will produce character in you. It will sharpen you. It will make you a better individual. So it never says in the Bible that hard times won't happen. In fact, I always look to the Bible and think, okay, because we're talking about faith, so if you don't like this now, fast forward to the end. But in the Bible, it talks about how we should be more Christ-like, and we should, look at how he lived and let his lifestyle and the way he thought and the way he loved people mold our lives. Now, I'm looking at Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane before he's going to go, like it's this month, so it's April, so it's like Easter month. So he's about to go, he knows what's coming, and he goes by himself. All of his friends leave him. They all fall asleep. He says, stay up with me. And all of the disciples who he literally saved and healed and brought him everywhere with him, they all fall asleep on him. They leave him by himself. He's pressed above measure and beyond strength. He's on his knees. He prays 3 times and asks God to pass this bitter cup from me. He says, if it be thy will, pass this bitter cup from me, because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But if it be thy will, I'll do it. But he didn't just pray once. He prayed 3 times to take this from. I can't handle it. It's too much weight for me. I have too much on me. That's Jesus. So if Jesus, who raised people from the dead, Jesus who fed the 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves, if Jesus, who was sent here from God for us, if he went through trials, if there's a scripture in the Bible that says Jesus wept. Jesus, what does he have to cry about? He was a man, right? That's why we can relate to Jesus. So when you're going to faith, if you're going deep and you're asking yourself, well, how do you keep the faith? Well, if Jesus went through hard times, I am. If Jesus had to cry out to God, then I will. So the hardship, the struggle, the hard times we're in right now, those should make you cling to that. Those should let you claim that truth, that I'm hoping it sharpened me. I hope it sharpened me. And somehow you're supposed to stay thankful through it. That's the hardest, is that you're supposed to, let all your requests be known to God, by prayer and thanksgiving and supplication, let all your requests be known and seek that first. And it's hard when finances are going down and health's going down and all you hear is negativity. So I feel you, but I also think that, Shannon, if that is your thought and that's your true belief, then it won't be easy. But I think that now is the time where your faith should grow exponentially. Now, I think that should be true in other areas of our life when you're going through hardship too. You're going through hardship. What do you want to do when you're going through hardship? You want to get beat down? No, you want to come back. You want to come back stronger. And right now we're all faced with that harsh reality that's going on, and it's either going to break us or it's going to build us. And I'm hoping for you that it definitely builds you, because that's what it's all about. Last one is Santino Valente. Have you fallen into the Tiger King trap on Netflix? I'm not above anything. I would love, actually, last year on this, I'd have been like, I don't watch that. I'm hardcore, but, I'm like everybody else. I watch a couple things here and there. I love films. I love movies. Favorite show right now, of all time right now. I think everyone should watch it. It's just really relatable for me and for the guys and everything we do, but All American. All American is the best show in the history of shows. The way it's shot, the emotions it hits. I've went through almost everything in the show. All American is, I didn't fall into the Tiger. I see it, but there's so many other things that I've missed in the last 10 years. I missed so many movies. I love films. I missed like every movie. I literally just opened a TV. I had a 75-inch TV I bought in October, right? I was going to treat myself. I'm like, when the playoffs come on, I'm going to be set. We have hundreds of inches of screens of TVs in the gym offices. They all went up right away. I didn't put my TV up. I had it since October, and 2 days ago, Michelle and I set it up. 75-inch Samsung smart TV. The smart TV's Wi-Fi doesn't work. You have to reset the TV and reprogram the TV every time you want to use it, and there's black spots on the screen. So I think that was a sign from God that I shouldn't be watching much TV right now. But when I do, it is all American. I don't watch is it the Lion King? What's it called?
The Tiger King. The
Tiger King. Nah, I didn't get sucked into it. Now, the real thing about this show, I just want to get this, and this will be a quick one, I hope. The worst excuse of all time has now been killed. Your excuse, you've used it. I know you've used it. Everyone's used it. I've used it. The greats have used it. I don't have enough time. You can't use that one anymore, unfortunately. Now you actually own all 24 hours of your day. Now there are some people that are essential that are still working. Us gym folks, we are non-essential, so we actually got edged. So us non-essential people don't necessarily have the exact job that we did a few weeks ago, but that excuse, I don't have time, it's the worst excuse of all time, and right now it could not be any worse of an excuse. If you are still leaning on that, I don't have time, something's wrong with you. But really, you know what I'm hearing more often than not, and it scares me? I don't know if anybody else out there has heard this one. I hear people saying, I'm bored. People are saying, I'm bored. I'm in my house and I'm bored. I never understand bored. And I think it's because I'm strategic and I just know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know not everyone's at that place in their life yet, but there is so much to do. There's so much to do. I don't go to bed upset with myself always that I'm a failure and I'm not doing my purpose. I know when I'm living my purpose, but I go to bed every night thinking I could have done more. I could have done so much more because there's so much to do. If you're using that excuse, or if you ever used that excuse in the past, now is your time. Your favorite excuse is gone. Now is your time, to use your energy, to use your creativity, and to focus on personal development, to focus on your fitness. What areas do people usually complain about? I don't have time for fitness. I don't have time to eat right. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to listen to a podcast. I don't have time to go to a webinar like Michelle, my girlfriend. She's about to do an online class, right? Can't go to the salon, but what can she do? She's an educator, so she's going to educate stylists to help them so that when they come out of this, and let me go on a little tangent real quick. I said this was going to be a quick one, but here. When we come out of this and when we go out, my bold prediction, maybe the opposite of a lot of people, it is going to be amazing when we come out of this. People are going to be spending money at their favorite small businesses, their restaurants, salons are going to be absolutely jam-packed. Gyms, people who have been working out and doing body weight, mirror workouts, or whatever Sam's was talking about, or they've been doing jumping jacks. You can only do so many damn jumping jacks. Let's be real. And people are going to be flooding gyms. People are going to be going to get to the masseuse and the massage therapist. I think it'll be a little awkward maybe the first few weeks, right? Maybe elbow knucks and maybe people will be hooking up, doing the arm hook, but maybe it won't be handshakes and hugs. But I think people are going to be coming out super excited. I think salons are going to be packed. I think hairstylists, I speak on hairstylists because I live with one, and the most intense hairstylist ever. I think everybody's going to be going to get their hair done. I think nail techs are going to be filled. I think chiropractors' offices are going to be filled. I think therapists, if you're a therapist, even maybe right now, maybe through phone consult, I think if you're a therapist, there are going to be people who are coming out of this maybe a little shook. So I think you're going to be real busy. I know I feel like a therapist a lot of times, so I'm already feeling the weight. Unfortunately, I have currently, I'm at that point where it doesn't even show you anymore how many unread text messages you have. So I'll assume over 100 unread text messages that I need to respond to. There's going to be a lot of activity when people come out of this, and people are going to be excited. People are going to be going to see family members that they haven't been able to see in however long. I'm hoping there will be a lot of people that come out of this changed. And again, going back to that personal development, if you can't work in the salon, she's doing a webinar right now. Maybe you don't have time to go to the conference in California. Maybe you don't have time when things are going good and you're in the salon to study, but right now you have the time. So right now, if you can spend 50 or $100, or maybe a coach or a consultant is willing to sit on the phone with you for a half hour and give you a consulting session for 50 or $100, do it now. Now is that when you have the time, so you can be prepared. Because when you come out of this, people are going to be busy. You're going to be having to make up lost ground. So now is the time to set the stage for what you're going to do when you come out of it. That's what we're doing in Top Line, and that's what I suggest everyone do. But that whole excuse, right, you don't have enough time, now's your time to reinvent. Get in fighting shape. Fix your one big flaw. Fix your flaws. Get in shape. Text the people, all the people that you've had animosity towards, all the people you've been jealous or envious of, or you've had, there's been dissension in your relationship. Fix it now. You have the time to do it now. You have a bigger heart right now because you've been humbled with everyone. Everyone who's had something stripped gets humbled. And I feel like I've had almost everything stripped of what was normal. And even though I've been able to pivot and make the adjustment and kind of reinvent things, and I got a big gym in the living room, and my office is set, and I'm ready to rock and roll every day, I had to make an adjustment too. It's humbling. And when you're humbled, it's a great opportunity to try and approach personal development and get your life back on track. So that excuse is done. Time is no longer the excuse. Right now, execution is what you need to get back to. And that was a phrase we used a lot in 2019. We got away from it now because it got played out. But the fact remains that when you execute and when you improve, your life feels a whole lot different. You feel a lot more positive, and you're able to make a bigger impact on not only your own life, but the people around you. So my suggestion is you right now, number one excuse, you don't have enough time, use it while you have it. Because when we get out of this, things are going to be hot, things are going to be busy, and you're going to be leaning back towards that old nasty excuse, I don't have enough time. It's the worst one. So use it while you've got it. Hope these shows have helped somebody out. We had 5 this week. I went long on all of them, but we're doing it for Milwaukee. We're doing it for the world. And again, I said it in the first one. I think it rings true now. I just don't want it to go because this is the truth. Like, I'm praying for everybody out there. If you weren't prepared for it, it caught you off guard. If you have a family member who was affected, I know that Sarah Olinger, one of my, like a family member, she's got family members who came down with it, And remember, just because somebody came down with the virus doesn't mean they're out, right? So pray for them while they're going through it. Pray for people in the other countries too. It doesn't matter what nationality it could be in any country. It doesn't matter who you are. It's about people. It's about loving people because they're all brothers and sisters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what their nationality is. I think all that stuff right now, that should go away forever. But I think now more than ever, I think just you don't know these people and maybe you weren't affected like they are. Maybe you have wealth and maybe you are maybe you have a nice big house and maybe, it's spread out and your kids aren't jumping all over you, or maybe you've just got it's like a more cushy situation. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You made decisions and did what you need to do. But remember, there's other people out there right now who are struggling, and they're always like that. I think now it's more apparent than ever. And I think that prayers, and I think that thoughts, and I think that humility should be with everyone. It's with my customers. Fortunately for me, my customers aren't the type of people who are really struggling, but I'm still thinking about them, and I'm still thinking about what they might be stressed out about, because no matter what you're going through in life, all problems are equally important to you. Someone else might be going through something that's really challenging them that you would look at and go, oh, that's nothing for me. Well, remember, you struggle with what you struggle with, and while someone else is struggling, I think it's important to go have their back and support them. If you can put out just some positive message, it will not only help your spirit, but I think it will help out the people who are really going through it. Give them that little bit of encouragement when they're down, because I've been down. And when you're down, and just even anybody, it could be a stranger, or it could be a friend, or it could be somebody you haven't talked to in a long time, and they just reach out and they just say, hey, I'm pulling for you. That means a lot. So I'm pulling for all you guys. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you think I'm annoying. I'm thinking about you. I'm hoping you're having a great day and having a great week and getting your life right, because that's what it's all about. So, love y'all. Hope that you have a great day. And if this helped you out in some way, hopefully you share it with somebody else. But at the end of the day, take the excuses off the table and get your mind right, get your life right. That's what it's all about. Catch you later.